Hi everyone, it's Izzy from Vevox and I'll be running through with you how to use the Vevox PowerPoint add-in. So first of all you need to do is log in to your Vevox account through the main Vevox dashboard. And all you need to do is step one, you just need to create your session. So if I just come up the top here, create session and give it a name. So I'm creating this session because this will automatically generate the 9-digit meeting ID that you need for your participants will need it in order to join your session, and you will also need to link your Vevox, your PowerPoint presentation to your Vevox session. So once you have done that, it will take you straight into your session that you've created. So step two, as you can see, we have this big notification at the top letting us know that this session is inactive. So for participants to answer your polls, you must start the session. So that's what I'm going to do. So that is both the steps done. So that is pretty much all you need to do through the Vevox dashboard. If you are using the Q&A or surveys, you will need to set these both up through here, as you will only be able to do polling through the PowerPoint add-in. But in regards to polls, you don't need to create that through here. You need to create that separately through the Vevox PowerPoint add-in. So if I just go over to that now, as you can see at the top here, we've got the Vevox tab. So this will appear after you have installed the add-in to your computer. And then the first step we need to do before I show you everything else is just to log in. So as I mentioned, you log in to be able to connect your presentation to your Vevox session. So that means when you have run all of your polls, the data will automatically sync into your session within the dashboard for you to go in and take a look at the data. You can download the data report and everything like that. So I just click at the top where it says login. This will come up with a pop-up. So I can either log in with my login credentials or with Microsoft if that's how you have logged in if that's how you logged in when you first signed up to Vevox. Or we also have this option that says I have an authentication code. So this is pretty much just a shortcut. I'd use it every time. It just saves me using logging in with my email address and password. So I just clicked on I have an authentication code. It will take me straight to this page. So to generate this authentication code, I will just need to go back to my dashboard, back into my session and click on the left here where it says PowerPoint add-in. As you can see, we've now got this mini slideshow. So if I just go to the last slide, which is 2 to the right, and click on generate authentication code. We've now got this long secure ID, which we just need to copy. And then going back into my PowerPoint presentation, I just need to paste that code in there. So yeah, a really quick way just to log into your Vevox account. You can also click remember me. So this will basically remember you, so you don't have to generate a code or log in every time you use Vevox. The only time it will log you out is if you don't use the PowerPoint add-in within 30 days. It will just log you out, so you have to log back in again. Perfect. If I just click continue. This will then ask me which session I'd like to join my presentation to. So as you can see, the session that I created at the beginning will appear here. So I just click on that and click connect. Great, so that's all done. So you can see it says started with a green tick at the top. So that's all connected now. So you can then go to create your poll slides. So to do that, I just need to go up to the top left and click add poll slide. So I can either add a poll on a new slide or on a current slide. But as my first slide is empty, I can just do it on a current slide. Now, if you've used the Vevox dashboard before, you will see that this is pretty much the same. It works exactly the same how to create your poll. All of the poll types that you have access to will appear at the top. So again, multiple choice, you have your question box and then your answers box. So for the first question, I'm going to do a multiple choice, but for the purpose of time, I'm just going to copy and paste a question that I have written on my second screen. and I'll just paste my question into there. So which of these countries has not hosted the Summer Olympic Games? And then I also just need to copy my answers. So again, the same with the Vevox dashboard. Each answer, make sure you hit enter in between, just so Vevox recognises that they are all separate answers. And as you can see, we've got the correct numbers. There's 4 different choices there. You also have the option to set a correct answer. So obviously by default, there is no correct answer. So I'll need to come down to the bottom and tick that. And then it will then ask me to tick the correct answer. So you don't need to do that if you haven't got a correct answer to your question. But in this case, I've got a quiz-based question. So it does have a correct answer, which is India, I believe. Perfect. So once I'm done with that, I can just click add. So this will basically create and look like this. So as you can see, we've got some sample results. So this basically automatically generates some sample results, just so you can see what the poll will look like after you have closed the question and you've got all your results. So you can edit this, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. If you've got other information that's not a poll, like poll information, you can put like a picture here or something like that. But everything is an object within PowerPoint, so you can completely edit it. You can change the colors, everything like that. You also notice that we've got the joining instructions that have automatically generated at the top here. So that will do that as I've already connected to my Vevox session. It will automatically pull through all of the joining instructions for each of your slides, which is really helpful if someone joins your session late. They will always know how to join this session. So that's my first one done. So now I just need to go on to add poll slide and then add a poll on a new slide. So again, exactly the same process. I just need to click on the poll type that I want. So for this next question, I'm going to do a numeric poll. And then I'm just going to again copy and paste my question, which is when did England last win the Football World Cup? So this has a correct answer again. So click correct answer and input that into the correct answer box, which in this case is 1969. As I've inputted my correct answer already, it will just come up with a little message basically saying that my correct answer is bigger than my values here. So I just need to come along to my values, and this basically gives the participants a range as to where that correct answer sits. So as this is a year, I'm just going to give the minimum value and maximum value of the decade. So that'd be 1960 as the minimum, and then 1969 as the maximum. So as you will see in a second, when we run through the polls, so as a participant, it will tell you on your phone, please enter a value between 1960 and 1969. That's 66, sorry. 66. It just gives you a bit of a clue as to where the answer is. So you can give the range as to whatever you want. You can do 100 years if you really want to. You can add a decimal place if you wanted to, but for this case, I'm not going to. And then the last bit, you can add an error margin. So it's currently set to 0. So the participant will only get the answer correct if they get the exact year. But you can add in an error margin, let's say of 2. So if I put in 2 either side of 1966, I'll also get that correct. That's if you're being nice to the participants and giving them a bit more help. But for this case, I'm just going to put 0. And then I just need to click add. And then again, it will just give me some sample results so I can see what it will look like when the poll is closed. So again, I can change that. I can go to design and I can change the color, everything like that. Edit it to make it look a bit more neat and everything like that. And then again, you can see here, please enter a value between 1960 and 1969. And then the correct answer will appear at the bottom. So last poll, I'm just going to come down to the bottom again and add another poll. And for this one, I'm just going to put a simple rating question, which is how do you rate session. And then the participants can send in a rating from 1 to 5 stars. So again, just click add. So that is all of the polls I'm going to create in today's video, but a few other features that we've got. So at the top here where it says instruction slide, if I just click on that, this will give me all of the joining instructions. So that's really good to put at the beginning of your presentation. So it just gets everyone onto the Vevox app ready for them to answer your questions. Another poll type feature we have is this convert to poll button. So at the top here, so if you hover over it, it says create a new interactive poll from an existing text on the current slide. So if I just come down and just create a new slide. So this works really well if you have an old presentation and you're wanting to basically to transform it into a Vevox interactive session. So if you just have plain text on a slide, so again, I'm just going to copy over some text from my previous question. So if you've got a question in the top box and then you've got your choices, pretty much the same as like what we did with the poll, but it's all plain text, so it's all just a PowerPoint slide. You can come up to the top here and click convert to poll. This will basically draw your information through and pop it into creating a poll. So as you can see, it's put my question in the correct box again with my choices. So that's if you're wanting to do a multiple choice. But if you're wanting to do maybe a word cloud, you can just have the question in the box like so. You can pick the one that you want. I'm just going to do multiple choice, and then again I can just set my correct answer. Perfect. So there are a few other features that I won't run through on this video because they are more advanced, and this is just more of a getting started video. But we've got some analysis slides. So we've got more information about all of this on our help site. But we've got our compare analysis slide, so you can show the results from 2 different polls. So maybe if you asked your participants a question at the beginning of your session, and then towards the end, you can then put both of them polls together and compare the results just to see if anyone has made any progress or anything like that. The next one we have our recall slide. So if you were to ask a poll, you can then show the results basically on another slide. And then the last one we have our total. So again, if you ask 2 of the same question, you can basically add them together for a total result. And then if you use this feature, so we have this feature through the dashboard as well, we have our leaderboard, so you can create a leaderboard through here. So this tallies up everyone's answers that they get correct to any poll types, any poll questions that you've got a correct answer set to. That will add everything up and display a leaderboard. But yeah, as I mentioned, we've got all further information on this on our help site, so feel free to go and take a look at that. So a couple more things before we run through the polls is I want to show you the display options, which is just at the top here. A few different options I can show. So by default, show results is on. So this means that when you open your poll and get the results and then you close the poll, the results will automatically display. But you can turn that off if you want to, so the results don't display. That's just an option that's there if you need it. We've also got a countdown clock, so you'll only find this feature within our PowerPoint add-in. So that's a main difference between the PowerPoint add-in and using the dashboard. So you can display the countdown clock during the poll, and then you can also set it so the countdown clock actually closes the poll for you, so you don't have to do that manually. And then a few other bits, you can add in some sounds and everything like that. So you can have a full play around and completely customize this to how you want. Great, so I think we're ready to start polling, but first of all, I'm just going to come up the top here and click clear results. As I mentioned, these are just test sample results, so I just need to come up to the top and clear all results in the whole presentation. So first slide, I'm just going to go into slideshow mode and grab my phone so I can join this Vevox session quickly. So it's 178610008. And then I'm ready to start polling. So I need to go on to my next slide, which is my poll slide. And then top left, you can see press enter to start polling. So that's what I'm going to click. And now the poll has appeared on my phone as the participant. So I can just simply click on the answer that I think. And then as you can see in the top left corner, exactly the same as the Vevox dashboard, it tells you how many people have answered this question out of how many people you have logged into your Vevox session. So it helps with knowing when to close that poll, which I'm going to do now by again pressing enter. The results will display, and then I need to press enter again to display the correct answer. On to my next question, which is my numeric poll. So when did England last win the Football World Cup? So again, as I mentioned, it says please enter a value between 1960 and 1969. So I just need to type my answer in as a participant and hit send. And then I can see in the top left corner, I've got all my responses in. So I can just close the question, which will display the results first, and then I need to click again to display the correct answer, which is written at the bottom. And then again, as a participant, I can see all results on my phone. And then last poll type, how do you rate this session? So as a participant, I can just tap in which star I want to give, and then as the host, I can just close the question again. Perfect. And then this was the convert to poll that I'd done, but I'm not going to answer that as we already know the answer. So there are a few differences that you might notice. So with the Vevox dashboard, when you have a poll open, you can see the results build dynamically. So if you have show results on, you can see the results pretty much as they come in live. Whereas with PowerPoint, that's not an option. So that's one thing to bear in mind. And then also, I will quickly show you if I was just to create a poll and I want to do an open text question, it will basically tell me in red that the results from your question, so the text responses, do not display on the poll slide. So you would have to go back into your Vevox session to find the results. So that's just one thing to bear in mind. But yes, I think that might be pretty much it. So yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to get in touch with us at support@vevox.com, and we'll be happy to help. Thanks a lot. Bye.